So I thought I'd do a quick little video tutorial this year. This is the first time I've done this on how to find the notes on my website, but also print them and potentially take digital notes, which if I were a student these days with the age of smart devices, I'd be taking notes digitally right on my little device. But I'll show you a couple of systems for doing that. This is a totally optional screencast. You don't have to watch this in the slightest, especially if you're going to be lazy this semester and not take any notes. But I highly recommend you take notes, because just because I provide a lot of the notes to you that you can download and obtain as a PDF doesn't mean that you got to take additional notes on top of that. And let me show you how to do that. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you briefly how to navigate my website. And principally, you go to my course homepage and find the lecture schedule, and that's how I organize the semester. So check that out on a regular basis. I'm going to have links to where you can get the notes, and that's all linked out. So once you go to the link, you're at what I call the course content page, and you just simply click on whatever format, and I'll show you a quick, I'll record the screen of me doing that real quick in just a second. The course homepage, like I said, that's the main page. You can find my contact information, the list of course materials, and my office hours in case you forget them. That's all on the syllabus too. The lecture schedule page, again, this is the most important page. I've got the schedule, and pretty soon, if it's not there already, I'm going to put my little blog post at the top of it, because that's how I get quick information to the class. I don't tend to do a lot of group emails because using the Shasta College system for email is very cumbersome, and it's got a lot of quirks that I'd like to avoid, so I make blog posts instead. So it's on you to kind of check that page on a regular basis. Okay, what I wanted to do right now is show you how to find my website quickly, but also find where the notes are, what the lecture schedule is, and so on. So to quickly find my website, if you haven't bookmarked it already, all you have to do is type mattdevans.com or www.mattdevans.com, and that'll take you here. This is the absolute homepage of, this is the main site of my web pages. But if you want to find whatever course you're in particular, you can navigate to it. I'm going to show you Chem 1A as an example. So for Chem 1A, this is the homepage for Chem 1A. And usually I have a tab over here on the right side, which is lecture schedule. This is probably where you need to be to find out what we're going to be talking about for the week, but also links to the notes. And so, for example, we can click on Introduction to Chemistry, and that takes us to the notes. There may or may not be a video here already, but if you just want to get the notes, whether the video is here or not, you click Print, and you can choose how much white space is in the document that prints out. So I've got it set to 1/3 of the space is white space. You can set this to 50 or up to 75, or even 0 if you don't want any white space in your document, and you just simply click Get Content. Now, for the most part, I've got all these notes up to date. When I make changes, it's usually automatically updated. Once in a while, I forget to configure the pictures to show up, or sometimes there's mathematical equations that don't show up properly, and sometimes there's nothing I can do, and sometimes eventually I'll get to it, but that's the real deal. So anyways, once you get you click this button, you're already there, and you can choose what to do with it. You can print it or upload it to OneNote or whatever you have to do. Taking notes. So I see far too students taking notes these days. I have a feeling it's kind of partly my fault because I make it really easy on you. I provide the notes to you, and so some people don't even, actually some people I see don't even print the notes ahead of time, but a lot of people print them. They take them to class. They take additional notes on top. And in this day and age, though, there are a lot of cool ways to take notes, a lot of modern ways. Of course, I just mentioned you can print the notes traditionally, or you can take notes digitally, and that's the purpose of this talk right here, is to how, I guess, the common systems for taking digital notes. I'll talk about the context of an Apple system versus a Windows system. There's great ways to do both on both systems. Okay, so let's start with traditional note-taking. I've just showed you previously how to find the notes and then print them. That's pretty straightforward. I mean, there's nothing's changed about that in 20 years, I assure you. By printing the notes ahead of time, I save you the effort of trying to keep up with me because I write down a lot of what's already said and written. So you just need to jot down those things that are not typed out for you. So I do tend to go off on tangents sometimes. I work through problems that I don't necessarily show you how to do in the lecture itself. So you're going to need to keep your pencil moving. In fact, an instructor or professor once told me that if you don't keep your pencil moving, that's how you're not learning. Actually, he phrased it, you got to keep your pencil moving at all times in chemistry. That's how you learn the material. You got to be writing it out constantly. Okay, so here's the fun part. This is digital note-taking. I'm going to cover the various ways of taking notes on laptops, iPads, other small digital devices. Certainly on a laptop, I mean, I won't spend too much time on that. You can certainly type out the notes. I suppose that's an option. So maybe you've got a program like Microsoft Word. You just try to type out the stuff. Even better is these journaling apps on Apple. I like Day One Journal. That's my favorite journal. And so that's actually something you can type out, and it automatically saves and keeps track of the date for you, which is really slick. Even better is an iPad. You can take notes on an iPad. I'm going to show you 2 apps for doing that. And if you have an iPad Pro, it's got palm rejection, as I'll mention later. That's really slick, and that's probably the way I'd be doing it since I'm a Mac guy. And a standard iPad is a little bit cumbersome. I'll talk about the reasons why. It's mostly because you don't have palm rejection like you do on the iPad Pro. And so for me, that's kind of a tough situation. I like to rest my palm when I'm taking notes. One app that I'll mention is Notability. I'll show you some video clips of me using it. It's arguably the best note-taking app for iOS. Very simple to use, as you'll see. Easy to add additional pages, prints well. This is the app that I would use for just taking flat-out handwritten notes, as in you don't have pre-existing PDF documents, that kind of stuff. It's really easy to add additional pages. It syncs very well. It's really nice. The PDF documents, it's kind of a mystery, though, as a con, how they're stored. You can get them, but it's a little bit more difficult compared to the next program, which is called PDF Expert, but that's a minor limitation as far as I'm concerned. Okay, PDF Expert is a program that I use. It'd probably be less useful to students, to be honest. It's more geared towards actual PDF documents, and I use it to make solutions keys. I use it to grade and this kind of stuff, but that's the assumption that I already have a PDF document to work with. So it edits the PDF files in place, which I really like. That's really advantageous for me. These days, with the advent of cloud drives, all my documents are now stored in the cloud, and I just simply, on the iPad or on my laptop, I can retrieve those documents wherever I'm at. It's tough to add additional pages to a document. I still haven't figured out how to do that. There might be a way. So it's not as nice as Notability in that regard, because I can't just simply handwrite notes and then add to that later on. But that's a minor limitation. I suppose Notability and PDF Expert just have different strengths and weaknesses, and that's normal. That's fine. Okay, the Surface Pro from Microsoft, or any of these Surface devices from Microsoft, or any laptop with a touch screen is going to work, potentially. And I hate to admit it, but Microsoft Surface Pro is a really slick device. It's an all-in-one device. You can do your normal Word stuff, PowerPoint, but also you can scribble on the Surface. I think the premier application for taking notes is Microsoft OneNote. It does require that you have a subscription to Office. That's a monthly subscription that I pay, and that's unfortunate. And it's a little bit confusing because there's 2 versions of OneNote. OneNote comes pre-installed on the Surface Pro, but that's the weakened, very limited version, which is not terribly useful to me, but it potentially works. And then the other one that comes, I believe, pre-installed on the Surface Pro is called Drawboard PDF. And you can edit the PDF documents in place. I really like that ability because I like to pre-place my PDF documents in organized folders and then just simply modify them by scribbling on them later, and it automatically saves. I don't like the way the pens are set up in that app. It's very confusing, too many drawing tools, and I just simply cannot figure out how to add tools to that. I tried to play around with it a couple of times, but as an iPad Pro user, I just don't have the time to be screwing around with that. But it does come pre-installed. It does seem pretty slick if you can spend the time to learn how to use it. Smart pens. I have zero experience with these things. I know they've been a little bit cumbersome. I've seen students try to use them, but they usually, from what I've seen, end up frustrating. But a recent article recommends this Neo Smart Pen N2, which syncs to your smartphone by Bluetooth. And, if I didn't have like an iPad Pro or Surface Pro, I might consider getting one of these. I do like having my notes digital, and that seems like a very simple device to do so. PDF scanners. You can take traditional notes with pen and paper, use a PDF scanning app to make digital copies of your notes. That's all well and good. PDF scanners have been around for some time now with smartphones. I personally use one called Scanner Pro. I use it all the time in class. Sometimes I'll scan pages out of students' notebooks, and then later at home on the iPad Pro, I grade them using PDF Expert. It's really slick for me. Maybe not so useful to you, but very useful. PDFs are multi-page documents, and so the app itself, at least Scanner Pro, you just simply take a snapshot of each page, and it automatically combines those pages into a PDF document, which is really neat. And then you can export it to wherever you need to go. I may actually use this personally to take pictures of some lab notebooks. I'm still trying to figure out how I can do this effectively and efficiently, but don't be surprised if I end up doing that in lab. All right, so at this point, I'm going to show you some video clips of the programs that I use, the devices that I use. It's just real short and sweet. Again, this is totally optional, but if you're interested, keep watching. If not, I'll see you in class. Okay, so this little video is going to show you how to obtain the notes, but also use modern devices to take additional notes. Of course, you can always print out the PDF notes that I provide on my website. You can take additional notes with a pen on top of that, bring that to class before I start lecturing, or have it printed out before you watch the online videos if I post those. That certainly works. I used to do it that way. I've got binders full of old notes from my Cal Poly days, and they're sitting in my office. I don't really look at them because they're just inconvenient. They're sitting in binders. When I'm at the coffee shop, I want to look at them. I can't do that. I bought a scanner many years ago. It's a duplex scanner that I'm starting to now scan in my old notes because I like to have on my laptop, but that's where I'm at. So if you don't have really one of these fancy devices and you just have a smartphone, taking it a kind of a step up from just traditional notes is to use one of these PDF scanners that they have available for iOS. In this case, I use a program called Scanner Pro. It's by Readdle. And I'm sure that on Android and those platforms, you can find similar PDF scanners. And the way it works is you take traditional notes and you use that app to take little snapshots of the pages, and then they combine into a PDF. You can transfer that to your computer in various ways and then organize them that way. If I didn't have any of those devices, like I said, that I'd be doing it that way. Now, when the iPad came out many years ago, I was really excited about this. I thought, finally, here's the modern device for taking notes. But unfortunately, while they did have apps for a long time for taking notes, I really don't like the fact that I can't rest my palm on the device. That's really kind of a non-starter for me. I don't like that feeling of holding my pen or my finger off the screen and trying to write legible notes. So I've never really taken advantage of that. I never really did it. But once I got the iPad Pro, this is where finally things have changed. And so I'll show you a couple of apps for taking notes, how to get the notes onto this thing, and then using the Apple Pencil to take modern notes. And you can save those notes and look at them later, or even print them out if you so choose later. The Surface Pro, I hate to admit it, but it's almost like the perfect system for a student if you have one of these things. They're kind of spendy. In fact, this isn't mine, actually. I'm borrowing this from somebody else here. But I'm going to record the screen and show you two apps. I'm not highly familiar with the Windows environment anymore. It's been a long time since I was a Windows user. So I'm going to be fumbling around a little bit here, but I'll still try to do the best I can to show you how to take notes on this, and I'll record the screen. Now, this laptop over here is just my laptop. I'm just going to use this to record the output of this and this. I've got some software to do that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm going to take you through two apps on this for taking notes in the modern way, and then storing them on your computer. All right, I've got the Surface Pro out. I'm ready to show you how to obtain the notes and get them into. The first program I'll show you is called OneNote. It's There's a simple version installed on all Surface Pros, but actually the professional one, which in this case is called 2016, is kind of goofy because there's two versions installed on my computer here, but the nicer one comes with Microsoft Office, and that's the one I'm going to show you here. First of all, if you can navigate to where the notes are, hopefully you know how to do that by now, but this is where the notes are for the very first section. So this is Introduction to Chemistry, and if you select Print, you can actually change the amount of white space. If you like a lot of space for taking notes on the side, increases to 50. I think I have a cap at about 75%, but or you can make this 0 if you don't want any extra white space. That's fine. So I'm going to click this and say Get Content. And it's going to take a little bit because it's got to generate the notes, and then I'm going to open this. By the way, this browser is Microsoft Edge. Again, I guess Internet Explorer is not... I guess it's kind of dying, Internet Explorer, so this is Edge. This is the newest browser from Microsoft. So here are the notes, and this is still the browser, so this PDF document is just simply embedded in the web browser. And if I go to click Print, here's where you're going to get it into OneNote 2016. So it's kind of goofy the way this works, but instead of printing to my home printer, you're going to say Send to OneNote 2016, and then that's going to, well, I'm going to hit the print button, and I see down here that OneNote, which is already open, is ready to receive that document. And I've created previously some notebooks in OneNote. That's how it's kind of organized in OneNote. And I'm just going to simply select 1A Notes and click OK. And what it's doing is it's converting that PDF document into OneNote's format, and it's going to take a while for that to happen. But there it is. You can title it something else, call it intro or whatever you want to call it. It's hard to type and talk at the same time here. But anyways, that's in OneNote. And then, of course, the beauty of this program is that you can, of course, detach the screen. I'm going to do that right now. And simply choose the draw feature, and I'm maybe watching lecture in person, or I'm watching the video online. So here's extra notes that I can take. Okay, so extra notes on the side. I don't know actually how this is stored on the device in terms of the actual notes. There's probably stored somewhere. I suspect that it's stored in the cloud or something like that. I guess that's the one thing I don't like about how OneNote works, is I'm never sure where this note is stored. But anyways, I've got this organized in terms of Matt's notebook. These are Chemistry 1A notes. And then over here, you've got the different sets of notes. So this is the very first chapter, which I called Intro. Later, if you obtain more notes, you can, see these kind of pop up and populate on the side here, and they're all organized here. So I guess I don't really care where the notes end up because it's all organized and I can see it over here and get to it later. All right, so another way to take additional notes with the Surface Pro that I'm aware of is this other program called, it's called Drawboard PDF. I think that's the name of it. Yeah, Drawboard PDF. What I like about this program is that, when you obtain the PDF document, you download it, you move it to whatever your preferred folder is, and then you simply open it up with this, and this modifies that PDF document in place. So I really like that. I'm kind of used to organizing PDF documents in that way. What I don't like about this program is the drawing tools are just not as intuitive. Pen is pretty self-explanatory, so I can take, extra notes here on the side, and that PDF is immediately updated and stored wherever I chose to store it. But at the same time, I just cannot figure out this thing. I don't have the time to really figure this out, but I don't know how to add extra pen tools. So if you're really interested in this program, which I believe comes standard with the Surface Pro, I think it's included in OneNote 2016 as part of the Microsoft Office package, you might want to really seriously consider this. I don't think I paid it. I don't think any money was paid for this. I think it was pre-installed on the Surface Pro, so you can check that out. All right, so that's Drawboard PDF. I showed you OneNote 2016. I'd probably use, if I had an Office subscription, which I do, I'd be using OneNote. If I didn't have that, I'd probably be using this program right here, and I've talked about the advantages and disadvantages of both. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to take notes on the iPad Pro. There is now a smaller version of this iPad Pro, which is available for purchase. But anyways, One thing that I got to do before I actually start working on this is I used a desktop computer to download the notes from my website. And for the first program that I'm going to show you, which is called Notability, I was forced to download it to Dropbox, which I don't use Dropbox terribly much anymore, but I don't pay for any extra space. I just have enough space to get little PDF documents. And I'm going to open up Notability. And in Notability, that's one of my favorite programs. In fact, I use this one a lot to just take general notes. It's not only just good for taking just flat out notes without any PDF document, but if you import a PDF document, you can take certainly notes on top of that. And that's what I'm going to do here. On the side, on the left side, I've got everything organized the way I want it. I'm going to hit import Dropbox. And I made sure that I downloaded this ahead of time. Here's the document that I got. It's still loading here. Create new note. I want to import that. And I think it's done. And there it is. All right, so this is a program that's really slick. It works really well. In fact, I've got the wrong pen there. Here's the Apple Pencil. And if I want to scribble something on top of this, I can certainly do that. So extra notes on the side. Off the top of my head, I don't recall how to export this set of notes somewhere else, but I think you can assume that it's pretty challenging to organize the PDFs. Just leave them where they're at, so they're on my Dropbox folder. I'll let Notability itself kind of organize it, and you can certainly print these notes in certain ways. I think what has to happen, though, is you have to go to Dropbox, open up the PDF, and then print it from there, but that's fine. Do it on a desktop computer. Okay, so Notability I really like. I think this is the go-to program in terms of just flat out taking notes in a class. In other words, you don't have a pre-existing PDF document to scribble on top of. If you want to take flat out notes, this is the app to use. The other app that I'm going to show you, though, is this one, which is called, I can't remember what it's called. It's called, I use it all the time. It's going to come to me. It's made by Readdle. It is PDF Expert is what it's called. And the advantage of this one is I like this one because I'm going to open up my PDF document and modify it in place. And I really like that feature rather than have to track down my documents somewhere on the iPad. I just don't like that kind of aspect. So what I'm doing right now is this works with iCloud Drive, which I do pay for extra space on this, and this works really seamlessly with my Apple computers. So in other words, I downloaded the PDF document on a desktop computer onto my iCloud Drive, and I'm going to open it up. There it is. And these drawing tools on the side allow me to take, don't want to use that one, extra notes. This is my go-to app for PDF documents. So in other words, if I have a PDF document that I generated or a student sends me a copy of their notebook or something like that, this is how I grade notebooks, or I just simply modify PDFs. I really like this app. I'm not sure how to add extra pages. So in other words, I'm working on a PDF document right here, but what if I want to take some freehand notes and add it to the same document? I don't think it's nearly as easy as it is in Notability. And so again, if I'm taking just freehand notes for a class, I would use Notability. If I'm working on PDF documents, which you can certainly download my notes from my website, I'd be using this one right here. Okay, so two apps, Notability and PDF Expert. There's plenty more. I haven't really played around with too many more. I know there's Evernote out there. I do not like Evernote so much. It's just totally confusing. It's a subscription service, which is a non-starter for me. They've got a companion app, which I really detest. Everybody raves about it, though, so you might want to check that one out and see what everybody's talking about, because I can't figure that one out. These are my two favorite apps right here.